So here's the summary of our two instruction formats, one of which has 3 registers, 2 register operands and a register destination, and one of which has a register operand, a constant operand, and a register destination. And as I say, we're going to talk about jump next time, but otherwise you've seen all of these guys. And here we go. All right, so in theory now, if I gave you a hardware interpreter for a beta, you could sit down and fill the memory full of 1s and 0s to make it do whatever you wanted. Well, of course, no one in the modern world actually does the programmable part of a programmable machine by writing out strings of binary bits representing each instruction. We tend to want to use some sort of higher level language. So what we'll be doing for the rest of this lecture and next is actually talking about how these higher level languages can be translated into sequences of machine instructions to give you some idea of how compilation works. So at the lowest level, what we have is this very simple binary format. Most of us would prefer, even if writing an individual instruction, to use some sort of symbolic representation where we say, look, I want to do an add of R2 and R3 and put the result in R4 rather than writing out this magic 32-bit string. So this is what's called assembly language. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the next 10 or so slides. And then after that, we're going to think about writing in a high-level language where we don't really think much about the actual location of values, whether they're in memory or in registers. We're going to let the automatic programming system take care of that for us. And instead, we'll just label we'll label values symbolically with a name. So we'll call a particular value A and another value B and C. And we'll just refer to them by that symbolic name, and it will be up to the compiler or interpreter to figure out where in memory those values are actually living at the moment. And so we have this high-level language, and almost all of us do our programming now in the high-level language.